Hello there, welcome back to the MechWarrior chassis variant series, MechWarrior Stone Rhino SR3, anyway, it's been so long. So today, we are here with the third variant of the Stone Rhino that was created. This one came out a little bit later, when ATM missile technology had become much more widespread throughout the clans. And this specific variant was created first by the Hell's Horses, for their Towman, probably around the time when they were attacking the Jade Falcon and their occupation zone in the Inner Sphere. We have a build that's a pair of ATM-9s, which are pretty decent punch and obviously quite multifunctional, combined with a quartet of large pulse lasers, 2 in each arm, and finally it has a pair of ER micro lasers. Now, PGI don't do rear-firing weapons, and as a little note for anyone who doesn't know, a lot of mechs in the Battletech universe actually do have rear-firing weapons. Usually these are for the sole purpose of protecting the mech from vehicles or other mechs that try to get behind them. Good examples are such as the Atlas, for instance, which actually has 2 rear-firing mediums, the Archer does the same, the Centurion has a rear-firing medium laser, and there's a bunch of them like that, and a few clan mechs also do the same thing. In this case, the Stone Rhino's ER micro lasers are actually supposed to be rear firing, but PGI don't do that, as I said. So instead, the ER micro lasers are the 2 massive cannons on the top. Normally this variant does not have those 2 on the top of it. It's supposed to be obviously visually distinct in that respect. So instead the ER micro lasers remain on the top of the mech and basically gives it 2 energy hardpoints that are really high mounted. So for anyone who is looking to do a custom build of this particular version of the Stone Rhino, keep in mind that you would want to rejigger the positioning of certain weapon systems to take advantage of the height. It gives you the ability to peek when you're behind cover, and especially when you're in a bit of a trading fight, you know, going range to range. On average, clans have got better range, so if you're in a duel with an Inner Sphere mech, you've got the advantage there where you can have a little extra range to play with to do some chip damage with those high-mounted weapon systems. Other than that, unfortunately, there's not really much in-universe information about it, if any, really. As I said, it's just a Hell's Horses model, so we can only really infer that it was probably built around the time when they were trying to take some territory off the Jade Falcons in the Inner Sphere, and as we know with Hell's Horses, initially went quite well, and then they just sort of got rolled up and the Jade Falcons kind of kicked their ass. And that's about it, unfortunately. I did paint this in a particular Hell's Horses style, the typical black with red trim, because that's what they like. It's got decals. I should have shown it at the beginning, but honestly, it's just look up Hell's Horses like camo scheme and you'll see it. Other than that, I mean, it suffers all the usual Stone Rhino issues. It's got the low-slung arms on either side, so you always have to be aware of your positioning to make sure you're not going to shoot the ground or a piece of obstructing terrain. The missiles themselves are actually kind of mid-mounted on the mech, which, with ATMs, it does create a situation where, because of the already pretty flat trajectory of those launchers, you will have trouble getting them to fire over the top of any surfaces to try and angle the missile over to hit a target, which can be a bit of a problem. But any target that's on a relatively flat trajectory to you, they're going to feel the pain, because obviously the quartet of lasers and the missiles can do a fair amount of damage, especially at medium ranges where you're in the kind of optimal zone for damage. And the way they do ATMs in this game obviously means that you're doing maximum damage at the shortest possible range for them, so it's not too bad. Ammunition isn't an issue. The mech's got pretty good armor right from the start. You wouldn't have to do too much in terms of being able to give yourself more range and ammo capacity. But yeah, I'd obviously recommend switching out those ER micro lasers, because outside of, you know, just if you want to run it stock like I do with most of my mechs for weapons, yeah, they are completely superfluous. They're just a kind of, they're a gag weapon at that point, especially in MWO, where customizing your mechs is kind of the key element of it, when it's the only thing you're going to want to do. So yeah, you can't be competitive in this game if you don't customize your mechs. I mean, when I post around where I get decent damage, that's probably 1 in, I don't know, 1 in 15 matches maybe, where I'm in the right spot and I'm getting hits on things, and you know, I'm I pick up maybe a kill or two, that kind of thing, but it's not very common. Because yeah, MWO is almost entirely built around customization of mechs and basically turning the mech into a totally different machine than it was from the start. And I'm aware that MechWarrior is not a series that's for Battletech fans. MechWarrior is a series that's for a very different type of fan. It just happens to be set in the Battletech universe. I've often thought, to be honest, that PGI would probably do better these days if they announced a new mech combat game that was all of their own creation, you know? That their own original designs, original universe. They can make whatever weapons they want then, and still keep this type of gameplay, but having full customization of the machines that way. Because, you know, it would probably work better for them. Since, obviously, one of the things that MechWarrior Online did, it created something of a schism within the community, as there were the older MechWarrior fans who definitely appreciated the older type of multiplayer combat and the such, and the much more refined level of customization where it wasn't just a completely open mech lab. And then there are the newer breed of MechWarrior fans who've only really known MWO, and so they just don't see why some people have those complaints. I wasn't as heavily attached to the MechWarrior like 4M multiplayer scene, barely played it, so I didn't feel this as much as some of those players did. But yeah, it was certainly divisive, and it has caused issues in the past between the community members. But yeah, anyway, that's me rambling. Round's over. There we go. The Stone Rhino 3. I wouldn't recommend it over some others out there, but it's not a bad one if you did want to just collect them all, so to speak. But anyway, the outro music's playing. Have a good week. Thank you all, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.